As a holiday treat, let me show you how to paint this Christmas tree. I'll put a shopping link to these long bristled fumui brushes in the description on YouTube. But I begin by putting water on the paper. Using random strokes, I then begin to add my lightest color first, in this case yellow, followed by a green. If you'd like to know the colors I used, you can feel free to check the description on YouTube, and I'll place a link for all those favorite greens and blues. I'm basically going from each of my animated puddles of color from light to dark, adding what might be considered to be shadows. When painting trees, it's my strategy to try to capture a sense of airiness in the tree. And, I like to say that trees are 90% air, unless, of course, you're golfing, and then it feels like they're 90% foliage and wood. But in watercolor, we really need to think of painting the shadows because we are not necessarily painting the light as in other mediums. We are capturing the light by painting around it with shadows. As a final step, I'm finding the lost and found sense of the trunk moving up through the center of the tree. And I ground the tree with a little bit of shadow by laying my brush on the side and just bringing some water. And also softening, taking some flat brushes and just bringing water to create a little bit of softness here and there. The long bristled brushes have made a really marvelous effect on the edge of the tree. The edges are everything in foliage. So pay special attention to those. And when and where you feel like you've gotten too uniform or too solid, you can take a thirsty flat brush and you can lift out some color. I would avoid blotting. I don't think it's a good idea if you still want the spontaneous watercolor magic to be capable of happening on the surface. Too much water can yield just a real solid feeling. Too little water yields very little magic. So you want to kind of find that middle ground. And you also want to create some softness here and there, which is exactly what I'm doing at this point in the process. I'm softening so that not everything is hard-edged. Here and there, shapes combine. But the final touch is little bits of dark with almost pure pigment from the well. I'm no longer have much water at all in my brush. I'm just dabbing with the smallest brush to get some peripheral little feathery bits along the edge of shapes, just to sort of say pine needles. As you can see, these tiny little darks really do add a sense of dimension and texture to some of the areas that were reading kind of solidly because they were one value. And these little edge details really kind of pull it all together. The final step in any painting is to add your signature. I do this with my favorite signature tool, which is a number 2 Princeton Select uh, script liner, and I'll include a shopping link for that in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you could leave me a little like or a follow. You can also save it to refer to later. Happy holidays, everyone.